Let's head into the papers now, see what the headlines are in Nigeria this morning. We have in the studio the CEO, CKN News, Chris Kendenwandu, as well as a chartered accountant and public affairs analyst, Sheson Okwade. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning,
and thank God it's Friday.
Yeah, that's right. It's a beautiful Friday.
Wonderful. Okay, let's begin with Daily Trust newspaper. Daily Trust says, as refineries gob 276 billion naira in 4 years, federal government embarks on fresh multi-billion naira repairs. Federal government embarks on fresh multi-billion naira repairs. Dormant refineries lose 123.25 billion naira in 10 months. In importation, forex, others push up fuel price. Experts differ on repairing, selling refineries. I guess this will interest Nigerians and even my guests when we open discussion shortly. From there, let's go to Business Day. Newspaper hoteliers may abandon franchise agreement as business declines. All right, that's Business Day. And then from there, let's go to Blueprint. Gunmen kill DPO inspector, 5 farmers in Sokoto, Katsina. It's really a troubling one there on the Blueprint newspaper. They also abduct 3 housewives. Okay, that's really troubling. From there, let's go to News Direct. News Direct says a 5 million naira SIM card sanction. Telcos dare NCC over data rollover. As NCC insists on automatic rollover, 9 mobile, Smile, Spectranet lead defaulters. Subscribers allege. Okay, this all on the front page of the News Direct there. National Economy says Nigeria records 90% tax receipts from non-oil sector. FIRS attributes feat to reforms. Okay, from there, let's go to Friday Leadership, or Leadership Friday. Federal government moves to stop relooting of recovered assets and launches database for assets tracing, recovery management. And Malami takes custody of final forfeited assets. Okay. Final forfeited assets. And also there is $110 billion looted from Nigeria Treasury annually, says Baja Biamila, that's the Speaker of the House of Representatives. Okay, gentlemen, let's head into this topic that never ends. Because when it comes to refineries in Nigeria, we've been talking about this since the last 20 years, or even more than that, as to whether they should be sold off. We've heard so much about TAM, turnaround maintenance, over the years, even in the days of military. But here we are now, federal government, from this headline here, federal government embarks on fresh multi-billion naira repairs. Now, if you look at the infographic on the front page of the Daily Trust, it shows that between 2013 and 2015, about $396 million was spent on turnaround maintenance. And then from 2015 to 2018, we have 276 billion naira spent on turnaround maintenance between this year bracket. And then if you look at the refineries, there's also the breakdown of the Kaduna refinery that has not produced since 2017, Warri refinery that has not produced since 2016, Port Harcourt refinery has not produced oil since 2017. So these are all the issues. So the question is, should we sell these refineries and just move on? Because everyone is seeing how the Dangote refineries is coming up and there's so much talk about it. Let me start with you, Sheson.
You see, when you read headlines like this, it's good for a Friday.
Oh,
so
really?
that you'll laugh and ease your burden. Because it sounds very
and we shouldn't
comic.
Be troubled instead.
Yeah, it sounds very comic in the sense that from what we read and what we know, this refinery, they are moribund. What everybody yearn for and what they tell us is that we are expecting some modular refinery. And when you start repairing what is not productive again, or what it has of stock, it baffles me. You're saying we should sell. Who are we selling to? Who wants to buy a vehicle that has no tire and the engine has not? Is it that you want to sell the scrap to be like, when you see a dilapidated vehicle like that is sold, possibly you are looking for a particular part that is scarce, all over the world, and that's why you are buying over that kind of property. Who do we sell to? And this is what we are saying. And for me, these are things NLC, TUC, and the unions should challenge.
Lupeng, Pengasan.
These are things they should challenge. It's not about increase, because once that money.
But they've been challenging too now. They are part of those who are saying you shouldn't sell the refineries.
And part of what I challenge them with is, are they not part of the policy makers? The unions are the workers that carry out some of these things. By the time the government gets the money, who are going to repair carry out the repairs? It is still the same worker. So we're spending money. So I think it's high time, and I don't want a situation where government will, because this kind of news is demoralizing. To say that a failed refinery is going to go up billions of dollars again. I don't know the name they want to call it, because it's not going to be turnaround maintenance of what has not been produced since 2016.
Okay, CKN, let me come to you on this. The point there is, the way Dangote refinery is coming up, and with the new one signed, the MOU signed that might come up in Akwa Ibom State by the BUA, in a few years, it seems so promising that it is making it look obvious that refinery business and all of that is not rocket science after all.
Yes, it is not. It's only in this part of the world that we make everything look so scientific in nature. And it's very funny. I've never seen a country as wasteful as Nigeria in my entire life. And it's just so shameful that our leaders are not also, they are not ashamed of some of the things they say or do. And I continue to ask is that, do these people, do they actually know they will die one day and meet God? Because if we don't hold them accountable, they have a creator that they will return to, who will ask them the talent. It said in the Bible, the talent I gave you, what did you do with it? So if this is the kind of talents they have and they are giving us, they'll be accountable to the creator. Now, Mike, is it not, I'm just short of words this morning. A refinery that has not produced one single liter of fuel, you pumped in billions and you are still saying that. That means some people are benefiting from this. Definitely, it's not in the interest of Nigerians. And Mike, the question we should ask ourselves, how much does it take to set up a new refinery?
Exactly.
If we're going to spend another 270 or so billion to look at this old, dilapidated and useless, as I will use the word, and have we asked ourselves how much is going to be used? So there are little countries like Niger here, we already started importing fuel from them. Countries like Chad, that are just in our backyard there. Countries like Ghana, these are smaller countries that we call ourselves giant of Africa, giant for nothing. A giant, an elephant with clay feet. So that is the problem. So
but that giant that you see, you're complaining of, a lot of other countries are relying on it.
Nobody is envious of Nigeria any longer, Mike. Gone are the days. Let's stop living in this daydreaming. Nobody is envious of Nigeria. Even little Ghana have already been asking us to come and take our people back home. It is that bad. But what I'm saying is yes, Dangote, as you rightly said, Dangote is coming up. I don't think the refinery will come on stream this year. I think it's going to be next year.
Yeah, of course.
BUA is coming up with another one. But can we continue? That in itself comes with its challenges. That means also, at the end of it, we will also be held captive sort of on the caprice of an individual, because whatever I do, if you understand what I'm trying to say,
now it's going to be close to a monopoly.
Yes, that is what we're going to have.
But they've already said, the federal government has already said from the headlines yesterday or 2 days ago that, of course, Dangote refinery, if it comes upstream, is going to sell fuel to Nigerians at the international price.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what is going to happen. And you are saying you are deregulating. Then what happens? That means also that is the way. But Mike, this is a problem. You know why it's a challenge to me is because this is a country that about 80% of our foreign exchange is based on crude, which we produce here. It's not that we're going outside to look for crude. We have crude there. What we do is just export this crude then to countries, and after refining, we go there and buy petrol. Is that not? It's just unfortunate. But something we give, definitely. We are pushing ourselves to a point where one day you're going to see this repercussion, and that is
all right. Now, Sheson, as it is right now, the issue of should we repair? No, should we sell? Oh, okay. Should we give this refinery, you know,
Dash out.
list it in the stock exchange so that Nigerians can buy in and own it, you know, it becomes a collective. What do you see from that window, really?
The thing I would say is, why do we ask that question ourselves? Should we sell? Should we repair? After carrying out an asset, you know, most of the time when you have an asset like that, you do asset valuation to know what actually is the state of that particular asset. Even a dead man knows that those refineries are not functional any longer. So why do you want to give in money to even, I'm telling you, nobody will buy. It is that something that has not been producing since 2016. You can imagine.
But the refineries are big. They're big.
It's part of what we're saying. You can be big for nothing.
Who will be ready to buy?
It's big for nothing. When you are big and you are not productive, my people will say it is not how big you are. When you want to open the door, it is not your fitness or your stature that opens the door.
Okay.
It's the man that owns the key that will definitely open it. So where we are, it's not about the size of that refinery. What is the output that we are getting out of it? Because that's what will determine the fate of our economy.
Okay.
It's obsolete.
We have
obsolete.
to.
It's beyond obsolete.
All right. Let's see how this goes, because upon these refineries, from some conspiracy theories we hear, some persons like you just mentioned, some persons just want it to be this way.
Yes.
So if those persons are taken away, or that idea is taken away, and the thing is plugged, you have a brand new refinery that stands anyway. But it's all right. Let's leave it here.
All right, let's head straight to the papers now, and I begin with the Daily Trust. As refineries gulp 276 billion naira in 4 years, federal government embarks on fresh multi-billion naira repairs. Dormant refineries lose 123.25 billion naira in 10 months. Importation, forex, others push up fuel price. Experts differ on repairing, selling refineries. To the business day now, hoteliers may abandon franchise agreement as business declines. On the front page of the Blueprint, the gunmen kill DPO, inspector, 5 farmers in Sakwato, Katsina. Abduct 3 housewives. NHRC trains security personnel. Vigilante groups chased out terrorists from our forest, Oyo Monarch. Don't reward terrorists with farmlands, houses. Sani warns Matsari. And to the front page of the News Direct, 5 million SIM card sanction. Telcos dare NCC over data rollover as NCC insists on automatic rollover. 9 Mobile, Smile, Spectranet lead defaulters, subscribers allege. And to the front page of the national economy, Nigeria records 90% tax receipts from non-oil sector. FIRS attributes feat to reforms. And finally, on the front page of the Leadership newspaper, federal government moves to stop relooting of recovered assets, launches database for assets tracing, recovery, management. Malami takes custody of final forfeited assets. $110 billion looted from Nigerian treasury annually, says Gbajabiamila. Gentlemen, I'm certain you would be interested in this story. A lot of reactions have trailed this new agency that the government is coming up with. But when you look at the Gbajabiamila's statement talking about $110 billion looted from Nigerian treasury annually, do we need a new agency to manage what is recovered from being relooted? I'll start with you, CKN.
Definitely not. The idea of using another agency to look at, take care of looted funds is not necessary. We already have the ICPC, we have the EFCC. Our problem in Nigeria is not lack of laws, but implementation of laws. So we have enough laws to be able to deal with that. These agencies are already struggling in terms of personnel too and other issues. And don't forget, a few months back, there was a recommendation that the government is cutting down on number of agencies and merging so many. So why are we now trying to create another one? It's not necessary. The fact remains that those in charge of these agencies have not been doing what they're supposed to do. Most of them have not been.
Is that burnout of they not being empowered, or what exactly is
He's
the
not,
challenge?
he's not being empowered. It's not the issue of being empowered, but the fact is that some of them have personal interest in most of the issues and cases. And so for that, they compromise. Look at what is happening in the probe going on, although the report has not been delivered and has not been submitted to the presidency. But if you see this snippets from what is coming out from the investigation panel led by retired Justice Salami, with that on the EFCC and the suspended acting EFCC chairman, if you read a lot of things coming out of that, you see that there are a lot of issues, personal issues, in that the former acting chairman was accused, allegedly, of certain unprofessional behaviors. So for me, coming up with another agency is not only is going to tell on Nigerians, it's going to eat into our resources, and it's also going to add a lot of problem. ICPC, to me, has not been doing anything. We can empower ICPC, if that is the way you want to go, ICPC can be empowered properly to be able to handle such issues. And we have personnel within this agency. Don't forget that also the police have an SF, a fraud unit that is also in charge, that does this too. So why are we doing not to duplicate all these issues? So I don't think it's necessary. But relating, yes, of course, the challenge has always been that we've asked, what are the money that have been recovered? What have you done with it? What have you done? And nobody's telling us anything.
I wonder if this is the same position you are holding, Sheson, in terms of this new agency. And do you have concerns with regards to what he just mentioned, our management of recovered funds?
Yeah, let me start with this government. I would just personally advise that they should match their word with action. If a few months back we were talking about reducing the number of agencies and collapsing them, and a few months later we are empowering and we are creating more, how many of such do we know underneath that are not blown to the public, just like Malami is doing? Until we leave that self-centeredness, everybody wants recognition, ego.
Is this what this is about?
As far as I'm concerned, this is what it's all about. Because if as an agency, the ICPC and the EFCC, have we done key performance index on some of the things that are expected of them? If there are new introduction, like they are saying they're having a central database for the compilation of the assets recovered, this is just introducing technology into what they're doing. If they've not been doing that, and it's quite pathetic that if you are just starting that, introducing that is way back behind the scene, because if you don't have a central database for every agency, ICPC, EFCC, the special fraud unit, where they can, centrally put the database so that there won't be duplication of effort. Some of this duplication that has been carried out is costs. It's wastage, let me put it that way, because it entails cost. If you are setting up that agency, the head of that agency, definitely we have luxury of vehicles, aids, and all those things. It's waste of resources. I would rather say that if there are new introductions that they feel the agency should carry out, introduce it to the existing ones. And until we take governance like we are doing business, where at the end of every period, like the current government said they had retreat and they actually measure the performance of some of those ministers. Same thing should be done on the part of the agencies. And if people are not performing, I'm sure in the private sector, if you are employed as the head of, like an MD of an organization, there are key performance index expected of you quarterly, every 6 months, and the board of director will be a check on you. This is what we expect the government to do. And if you are not performing, we'll kick you out and get somebody else to do some of this job. But creating another agency to carry out what is expected of the two, as far as I'm concerned, separating even EFCC and ICPC is something we can consolidate. But do you know the reason? Malami copied this from UK. And at times when we copy, it happens at times those days when we are in school, $1 will copy you from behind and it's copied wrongly.
And copy your name.
He will copy to the extent that he will copy your name. Now we are copying what we don't have full knowledge about. Because UK
You
does
think he
not have...
didn't think this through and, walk through it thoroughly before
It's
trying
not
to...
done. We just want to do something and be registered. We like, in this country, we like our name being attached to a particular thing. Malami just want to be saying that during my regime, an agency was created. Meanwhile, 2 failed under your custody. So until we take governance like serious business, where we measure what some of the people that we have put in position. But one thing needs to be known, if you don't set criteria, there's nothing to measure. So if the guy is just walking,
But this is not the first time. We've always talked about measurement and ensuring, even for security operatives, the people have talked about perhaps there has to be that performance index, right?
Yes.
Like you mentioned, to check to see their performance and measure to see if it is up to what is expected of them. But what really is the challenge with regards to that, ensuring that people are held accountable and ensure that they deliver on what they have been hired for, if I may use that word.
His leadership style, his capacity. Our leaders, they have the capacity. They have the capacity to be able to evaluate. And the buck, when it comes centrally, federal, the buck stops on the decks of the president. In the state, it stops on the decks of the governors. If a president cannot look his ministers, the president should have a periodic way of assessing his ministers and those that work with him. As Sheso rightly says, 3 months, 6 months, yearly. You saw in the last administration, we saw some ministers that stayed for the whole 4 years and couldn't perform. But the president was aloof. It never mattered to him. We see what is happening in the security agencies, where we've made calls that some of the security heads should be changed so that we can have some level of
But
dynamism.
during the ministerial meeting, I think that was last week or 2 weeks ago, the president also talked about performance, ensuring they deliver.
But how are you measuring it?
He
Now,
said
it's not
so
talking.
when he started in 2015. What did he do? This is 2020, 5 years after.
Action is what
What we're looking at. So it's not just saying it. You must be able to make sure, and that in itself, put them in check and make sure that they perform.
Yeah.
Well, so when you don't have a criteria of checking the performances of those under you, there's a tendency for them to just do whatever, because they know demand that is there is not going to take action, and that is where we are today.
And also, let me just say it here. If you are the one that picked the person and believed the name, and you didn't set criteria, you want to swallow up the shame of saying the person you gave to us has failed. So you just manage the person, manage till you go. Until we take that and face it, the reality that any non-performing head of agency or government head is kicked out and we get people, we are not going anywhere.
We hope that we get to that point.
We pray so.
We must thank you, Chris Kente-Nwandu, Sheso Nkwade, for your time on the newspaper review. We can only keep hoping for the best in Nigeria.